Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the fascinating and honestly profound spiritual science of Rudolf Steiner. We're going to explore the hidden architecture of human existence, specifically looking at the cosmic drama surrounding our life forces. It's a deep dive into life, sleep, and even tragedy, but as you'll see, it offers an absolutely astonishing perspective on how the universe operates.
So let's just get right to it. We need to confront a really profound and often painful question. When a young person passes away, say tragically in their 20s or 30s, what exactly happens to all that unspent vital energy? I mean, biologically, sure, the physical body stops, but esoterically? According to the sources we're unpacking today, the story is quite literally just beginning.
To understand how this works, we need to lay down some spiritual mechanics. So, Section 1, Transformation of Unspent Forces.
We first need to define what spiritual science actually calls the etheric body. Think of it as a subtle time body. If your physical body is, a 3D form taking up space, your etheric body is a form built entirely out of time and memory. It's this matrix of vital forces that permeates us and keeps the physical structure alive. And here's the kicker. It's pretty wild, actually. While our physical body degrades and ages, the etheric body goes in the complete opposite direction. It grows younger over a normal lifespan, reaching the state of childlike purity by the time of a natural death and old age. And this sets up a really fascinating parallel between physical and spiritual laws. In physics, we have the law of conservation of energy, right? Forces are never lost, they just transform. Well, the exact same principle applies spiritually. When a youth dies tragically, their etheric body separates from them. But because they died young, that body is still absolutely brimming with potent, unspent life force, energy that was meant to sustain them for another 50 or 60 years. That immense energy doesn't just poof into nothingness. Instead, it remains right there in the spiritual realm as a massive, powerful reserve of energy.
To really wrap our heads around the cosmic scale of what this unspent energy means, we need to zoom out a bit. Moving on to Section 2, the thinking Earth. I want you to consider this quote from Steiner. Every sleeping human being is in a certain sense a brain molecule of the Earth. It's a mind-bending concept, isn't it? We usually just think of sleep as passive biology, downtime for the physical body, but spiritual science reveals a wildly different reality. During the night, the Earth is actively using our sleeping physical bodies. Just like we use the neurons in our brains to think, the Earth actually uses our resting forms to assimilate its own cosmic perceptions.
Let's compare our waking and sleeping states to see the mechanics of this. When we're awake, our etheric body is tightly bound to our physical body. It's busy giving us the active life forces we need just to go about our day. But when we sleep, a magnificent expansion happens. The etheric body literally expands outward and shines as a microcosmic reflection of the starry heavens. So, while our physical bodies are acting as the Earth's brain molecules, our etheric bodies are out there engaging in a massive cosmic exchange, gathering inspiration straight from the universe itself. Keep that vivid image of the etheric body reflecting the stars in your mind, because we now have to bring these laws into the stark, historical reality of our time. Section 3. Sacrifices of the battlefield.
Think about the staggering multitudes of youth tragically lost on the battlefields, which was something Steiner noted heavily during the massive global conflicts of his era. We aren't talking about just a handful of unspent etheric bodies here. We are talking about a sudden, massive surge of highly potent, unused etheric forces being released into the spiritual atmosphere all at once.
These early deaths, while obviously representing immense, heartbreaking earthly grief, also represent a profound spiritual sacrifice. Those unspent etheric bodies of the fallen ascend and actually become an active reservoir of heavenly forces. And because these forces were released early, they are uniquely freed from normal physical laws. They are untethered, incredibly potent, and essentially waiting in the spiritual realm to be utilized.
This sudden abundance of untethered energy immediately becomes the focal point of a massive cosmic drama, which brings us to Section 4, the representative of humanity.
Steiner actually visualized this exact tension in a striking sculptural group for his center in Dornach. He showed the opposing spiritual extremes fighting to claim these newly released forces. On one side, you have Lucifer, falling from above with broken wings, embodying the seductive, airy heights of pride, delusion, and ungrounded passion. On the other side is Ahriman, heavily fettered in a cave below by the gold of the earth, representing the crushing depths of materialism, cold intellect, and spiritual darkness. These two extremes are in a constant tug-of-war, trying to pull human potential and these unspent forces into their domains.
But right in the middle,
Holding the center is the representative of humanity, a Christ-like figure standing firmly on a rock. And just picture the posture of this figure for a moment. They are completely devoid of anger or judgment or forceful condemnation. Instead, this central figure just radiates absolute selfless compassion.
This leads to a total paradigm shift in how we view spiritual justice. As Steiner notes, Christ does not condemn. Lucifer breaks his wings himself, and Ahriman binds himself in the proximity of Christ. So these dark beings aren't punished from the outside by some angry judge. Actually, they are bound by their own inner nature the very moment they encounter absolute pure compassion. It's the mere presence of that perfect balance that completely neutralizes the extreme forces.
Understanding this cosmic balance is absolutely crucial if we want to ensure the monumental sacrifices of the youth aren't just swallowed up by materialism or fiery nationalism. Let's look at Section 5, Navigating the Spiritual Storm.
This brings us to the concept of the Christ boat. The sources describe our modern spiritual reality as a turbulent, raging sea, constantly being stirred up by these Luciferic and Ahrimanic storms. You've got extreme passions on one side, cold materialism on the other. As human souls, we have to consciously act as a vessel, navigating right through the dead center of these storms. By turning our thoughts upward towards spiritual science with reverence, we become the vessel that protects, channels, and truly honors those unspent heavenly forces residing in the spiritual atmosphere.
And if we can manage to hold that center, we help fulfill an incredibly poignant promise. From the courage of the fighters, from the blood on fields of battle, from the grief of the bereaved, there will ripen fruit of spirit. Our conscious, intentional spiritual engagement is the literal mechanism required for this. It's how we, the living, partner with the spiritual realm to transform immense human tragedy into a deeply healing force for future generations.
And that brings us to the close of our analysis today. I want to leave you with this provocative challenge. How will you consciously navigate your own Christ boat? How will you hold that center of compassion against the wild extremes of our modern world to ensure these cosmic sacrifices actually become the healing forces of our shared future? It's something to really chew on. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep seeking that center, and we'll catch you next time.